Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today I will speak about 3 verses from the Quran to show you how the Muslim translators are cheating on non-Arabic speakers by adding words, removing words, changing words. For many reasons they are doing this. I will mention 3 reasons. The first one is just to relate these verses to Muhammad, in spite of the name Muhammad is not existing in the Arabic script. Second reason is because there are some verses include immoral words and they are ashamed to translate them correctly. The third reason is because there are some verses give no meaning only if you add words, or sometimes it's required to add sentences to give a reasonable meaning for these verses. For your information, the translation which I took, it is from Islamic sources. This will be not the first and the last video regarding these verses. I'm going to make a serial of these verses to show you how the Muslim translators are cheating on non-Arabic speakers. So let us start now with the first verse, which is the verse number 1 from Surah Al-Isra. As you see here, I placed the Arabic script on the screen, and I want you now to concentrate on this underlined word and on the other word which I placed in the table, which is Muhammad. And from the shape, you're going to know that this word, Muhammad, is not beside this underlined word. We come now to the German version, and I want you also to concentrate on these 2 underlined words and on this word which is in the table, and as you are all reading, is Muhammad. And you see now this Muhammad is not beside these 2 underlined words. Now we move to the English version, and as you are all seeing, they were adding the name Muhammad to the script in spite of no existence of the name Muhammad in the Arabic script. So ask yourself why they are doing this. Before I move to the second verse in the Quran, I'd like to mention something about the verse number 1 from Surah Al-Isra. As a Christian, and I hope that each Christian has to know that these verses have been stolen by Muhammad from the Apostle Paul. We read in the 2 Corinthians, the chapter number 12 and the verses 1 to 5 the following. I must go on boasting, although there is nothing to be gained. I will go on to visions and revelations from the Lord. I know a man in Christ who 14 years ago was caught up to the 3rd heaven, whether it was in the body or out of the body. I do not know, God knows, and I know that this man, whether in the body or apart from the body, I do not know, but God knows, was caught up to paradise, and heard inexpressible things, things that no one is permitted to tell. I will boast about a man like that, but I will not boast about myself except about my weaknesses. We come now to the verse number 37 from Surah Al-Ahzab. I placed the script in Arabic and underlined the words which the translator was translating wrongly. We will read first the translation of the translator, and after that I will tell you what's the correct translation. The translator was translating this underlined word as following. So when Zayd totally lost interest in keeping his wife, we gave her to you in marriage. Of course, this translation is totally wrong. The correct translation has to be as follows. When Zayd spent his need of sexual enjoyment with her, we gave her to you in marriage. Before I come to the third verse in the Quran, I'd like to mention something about Zayd, if someone do not know who Zayd is. Zayd was the adoptive son of Muhammad, and Muhammad was very proud about that, and he announced among the Qurayshi people that Zayd is the son of Muhammad. Muhammad got Zayd and Zainab married together, and after some times Muhammad went to visit his adoptive son, but he was not at home. His wife was there, Zainab. The interpreters of Islam describe Zainab that she was in a white color and she was plump in body. When he saw Zainab, he started to praise Allah and say, praise Allah who changed the heart. Zainab heard this praise of him, and when her husband came home, she told him about this. We read in two different interpretations. One said that when Muhammad was asking Zayd about Zainab, he told him that she's too kind and he saw only good things from her side. And after this visit, we see that Zayd is going to Muhammad and complaining against Zainab and saying she's not too kind to me, she is saying to me bad words. It's very, really, very, very strange that this complaining coming after the visit of Muhammad. And Zayd is telling Muhammad that if you want her prophet, then I will leave her. Yeah. And when you read in the interpretations that why suddenly Zayd is saying this, that Allah was putting the hatred in the heart of Zayd towards Zainab. By reading these verses in this surah, we see that Muhammad is feeling embarrassed among the Quraysh people that they're gonna start to say that Muhammad took the wife of his adoptive son for himself. And Allah is saying to him, why you are feeling embarrassed if I am the one who permit for you to do this? So in this matter, I will say that Allah is a pimp for Muhammad. And the second thing, what was happening before, because of this lust, what entered Muhammad's heart towards Zainab, and Allah forbade the adoption in the excuse of losing the genealogy. If this Allah, as they assert that He is the Creator has to know from the beginning that adoption will lead to losing the genealogy. The last thing I want to say about Zayd, of course, Zayd was afraid about his head will be chopped if he don't leave Zainab for Muhammad, since he knew that the lust entered Muhammad's heart towards Zainab. We reach now the third verse from the Quran, which is the verse number 50 from Surah Al-Ahzab. I placed the Arabic script on the screen and underlined the words which the translator was translating. We will read first the translation of this translator, and after that I will read the correct translation. The translator was translating as follows. Also allowed for marriage is a believing woman who offers herself to the Prophet without dowry if he is interested in marrying her. This translation is of course wrong because he was adding the sentence allowed for marriage, which is not existing in the Arabic script. He was adding without dowry, which is not existing in the Arabic script. He was translating the word from the original script to marrying, which is not marrying. He was translating and adding these words, playing with the meaning of the words on purpose just to give these verses the meaning of marriage. The correct translation will be as follows. And a believing woman that gave herself to the Prophet if he is interested in sexual intercourse with her, because marrying, it comes from the word يتزوجها, but in the Arabic script it's written يستنكحها. So here also I have to say something, that I see Allah as a pimp of Muhammad. At the end, I'd like to thank you for watching the video and for your encouragement with your comments. God bless you.